I'm going to kind of kick it off and then we're going to go through. This is like, we decided to do this mini summit because number one, we got the worst news of life this week, right? Like that our summit is canceled in July. And I know for many of you, this was your first summit event. This was an event that you qualified for. You maybe even earned your free ticket to Coach Summit. Maybe you already had booked your hotel room and you were rooming with some of your friends that you had made through coaching, and you're like super bummed that you don't get to have that experience. And I feel for you in so many ways. We had to cancel our team event. We had to cancel a training event that we were doing. You know, it started with the Success Club trip, and then it just keeps, I just feel like every week there is something new that is happening to us, you know, and I sort of had a moment. I'm going to change my Wi-Fi very quickly, so I apologize if I glitch out for 1 second. So, all right, am I okay now? Tell me if it's, nope, it's not. It's still going. Hold up. Okay, I should be better now. Am I good? So my kids are on the downstairs TV, and when they're playing downstairs, I have to switch my Wi-Fi. Otherwise, I don't have good connection. But you know, on Tuesday of this week, I sort of had a meltdown. And I share that with you because sometimes as the leader, you know, I think that it looks like I've got it all together all of the time, or I'm always so systematic and I'm always so organized and I always, you know, like try to have all the answers. And, you know, on Monday night, I got the email that said, you know, the quarantine was extended and school is closed indefinitely. And then I got the email that my kids' field trips were canceled. And then I knew that it was going to affect spring baseball, and they're so looking forward to that, you know. And so all of these things that we're looking forward to are slowly being taken away from us. And you know, then our top 10 trip got canceled. And so all of these things, and it just created a moment where I was like, this kind of sucks. And I let myself kind of go down that rabbit hole. And honestly, I gave myself 24 hours to be angry. I gave myself 24 hours to be like, I don't like this. I gave myself some time to throw a little bit of a pity party. And maybe for you guys, the whole month of March has legit been a pity party for you, right? And maybe you've been saying to yourself, like, this is so hard. I didn't hit Success Club last month because of the coronavirus, or my kids being home, or now I have to work at home and I have to homeschool my kids and my kids aren't going to daycare, or, you know, like everybody is trying to find a new normal. And for many of us, we spent the whole month of March in that mind frame of I'm trying to figure it out. And I was like thinking about this, and I'm like, so many people ended the month of March and they look back and they're like, wow, like that was a shit show. I just let all of life sweep me up, right? I let life sweep me up. I let life get the best of me. I let life sort of take over, and I need to get myself back on track. And so I look at, you know, today, and I look at kind of where we're at. And the one thing that, and I've been listening to the John Maxwell, I've been listening to his Leading Through Crisis, right? So I've been listening to that series. And there were a couple of things that he said in there. You know, he talked about like, who are we going to become because of this situation? He talked about the fact that we will never be the same society that we were pre-coronavirus. And so if you're sitting here saying, I just can't wait for things to go back to normal, I just can't wait for things to, you know, for everything to resume, I want you guys to know it is not, we don't have that normal anymore. That normal does not exist. That is in our past. That is our history. And the only thing we can do right now is write the next chapter, right? We can say, like, this current challenge that we're facing, how do I use this current situation so that it is actually for me, right? And that it's not happening to me. Because look, every single person on this call right now is changing in some way. We're forced to change. And there are things that we would have never done before if it wasn't for coronavirus, if it wasn't for the pandemic, if it wasn't for us being quarantined. And some of those things might be like working on your relationship, spending more quality time with your kids. It might be growing your Beachbody business, because all of a sudden you're forced to now be at home. And maybe for some of you, your job has legit been ripped out from underneath of you and you have no other option. And so you're like embracing coaching because you know that this has always been a viable option for you. You know that this can be a really lucrative business, but you've always had a safety net. You've always had that full-time job. You've always had that thing to fall back on. So maybe coaching was always kind of sort of like a little hobby to you. And now you're really being forced to say, do I make this actually a business? And so, you know, we are being forced into making some changes. And so as we kind of are navigating through this, we have a focus. We can focus on the fact that everything is changing, or we can focus on everything is changing and how do I get creative? How do I not resist the change, but how do I start tuning into the frequency of creativity, of abundance, of opportunity? How do I start? Because like I was talking to my mentor this week and we were talking about the frequencies that we tune into, right? And so guys, if you even just like look at social media right now, what do you see? You see the frequency of negativity. You can turn on the news and you can hear, woe is me. You can Google search certain things and go down a rabbit hole of message boards about how our life is coming to an end, right? You can tune into that frequency, but what are you gonna get more of? You are going to get more negativity. You are going to get more obstacles. You are going to get more people that are not looking at this as an opportunity. Or you can choose to surround yourself by people who are creative, thinking outside of the box, looking at new ways to do things. You can look yourself in the mirror and say, am I saying this is so hard? Am I saying nobody wants to buy? Or am I saying I am attracting my ideal team members? I am attracting women who are at home right now and really care about their health and fitness, and that want to build an income and are go-getters and are going to crush it. Or you like those people don't exist. So whatever frequency that you are playing in your own mind, whatever frequency you're going out there and searching for is what you are going to get more of. And so we just have this, it's a very simple shift in the way we are going to focus on how we're going to focus our energy. And today, this Saturday morning, is like, I want you guys, I went on our leaderboards for the month of March and I was like, and who's recruiting, who's hitting high SC, who is putting out that frequency of abundance, of you know, change, and is getting creative and doing things a little bit different. And let's get them on a Saturday morning chat and let's teach you. And I gave each of the speakers very specific like direction of, I want tangible, what are you doing, so that the people that could listen could literally implement. Because I want you to know that people's businesses are growing. I want you to know that people are creating income right now. People are advancing in rank. They're diamond, star diamond, multi-star diamond. People are reaching those qualifications. They're getting success starters. They're launching 10 rounds. They're building their teams. Guys, people are buying right now. People are buying. But if we are choosing to not be open to that because we're so afraid, we're not going to attract, right? We're not going to attract the people that we want. So we got to like create some space. We got to get in a creative zone. I want you to turn off your phone. I want you to get out a sheet of paper. I don't want you to be checking your messages or scrolling the news feed. I want you to be present for the next hour and maybe 40 minutes that we are together. I want you to take notes. And then when we're done with our time here today, and maybe you haven't made goals for yourself because you're afraid, I want you to say, no more of that. I am putting a stake in the ground. I'm going to look at this Beachbody business as an opportunity, right, to change my circumstance. And I'm going to take some action. And that means that I have to do hard things. That means that I might have to change my schedule a little bit. I was telling some of the girls yesterday that, you know what? I said in the beginning of January, no longer. I'm not doing evening calls. I'm not working after 5 o'clock anymore, right? I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I've earned the right. I've done Beachbody for 9 years. I have hustled, done the nap time hustle, the late nights, the early mornings, the running on fumes. My kids are older. I want to be around at night when we go to sports. I'm not scheduling evening calls. And guess what? Quarantine happened and God clearly had a different plan for me. And he says, you're going to homeschool your kids during the day and then you're going to do your Beachbody business on the nights and the weekends. And I said, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I didn't say I'm not going to do it. I was like, yes, I am. I'm going to change because I have no other option, but I have the flexibility and the freedom to be able to do it. So it doesn't look the way it did when I, and originally anticipated it to go in January, but I'm not changing the end goal. I'm just changing how I will get there. I'm changing my approach, right? I'm fixed in the outcome, but I'm flexible in the approach. And the last story I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to turn it over to our first speaker, is in the John Maxwell series. This hit me like a ton of bricks, and it's something we do. We teach to new coaches, right? He talked about his dad, talked about his biggest inspiration was his dad. All right. And he talked about the fact that when the Great Depression was going on, right, that most people were lining up to get bread every day, right? They were standing in line for bread. And his dad was like, I'm not standing in line for bread. I'm going to go work. And so he went to these hardware stores and he would say, hey, I want to work for you. And the owner of the store would say, you know what, I can't afford to pay you. I don't have a job right now, or I don't have a spot for you. And he's like, can I do anything for you? Can I help you in any way? And the owner would say, well, sure, you can help me, but I can't. And he's like, I don't care. You don't have to pay me. And so he'd work. He would work all day long. At the end of the day, he would say to the owner, thank you so much for letting me work here. And the owner would say, I'm so grateful. I'm so sorry. I can't pay you. And he said, no problem. But will you just do me a favor? Will you just remember me if an opportunity does come up? Will you give me a call? And the owner, absolutely, sure. I'll absolutely remember you. And he did that to the next store the next day, and the next store the next day, and the next, and the next. And he kept going to stores in the area. And you know what? In a couple of weeks, his phone started to ring. Hey, you came to work. Oh, yeah, I remember you. Would you come in and work? Like, I don't have a full-time job, but I've got some part-time work. Are you willing? And he would say, yeah, I'll come in. And he would work. And he would work all of these different jobs so that he could pay to put food on the table for his family. You see, the moral of that story is that he looked for a different opportunity. He didn't sit there and just stand in line and wait for the bread like everybody else was doing. He got creative. He was like, how do I get people to remember me? How do I just go out and genuinely serve other people so that when something does open up, small or big, they think of me? And here we are in our Beachbody businesses right now. And what do we talk about? Serve, show up, send those messages, do those follow-ups, post those videos, do those how-tos, serve people right now in a space where they need it most, and they may not everybody may be able to pay you right now, but I guarantee you when they do have the money, you will be the one that they think of because you served them unapologetically when they couldn't give you anything in return. That, my friends, is how you build a freaking Beachbody business. From day one of launching our business, what do we teach you to do? It is to serve. Now we just serve harder, right? Now we just lean in even more. And we do it with intention, we do it with purpose, but the people that you will see at the end of this year who their businesses are on fire and you're like, what the heck? They're the people, if you look back to this time right now, they are hustling like there's nobody's business because they know the momentum that is created when you show up and make an impact during the difficult times, all right? And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're gonna have to drag yourself out of bed. Sometimes you're gonna have some anxiety, right? And you're gonna be a little fearful and you're gonna have to work through that. I will never tell you it won't be easy, but I will always tell you it'll be worth it. And I'll always tell you you'll learn something from any challenge that you are being faced with. So you guys, I hope you're excited for today. I hope you're leaning into this, and I'm so excited for you guys to be here. 261 people on this call right now. Like, amen. Thank you guys so much for being here, for being a part of this. So let's kick it off. Let's get started. Are you guys ready? Ready?